And I'm back with more Dual Destinies. Marlon Rhymes is going to take the stand, so let's go to it. And let's get ready for more of my shitty rapping. What's going on? What's everybody making that face for? I mean, I haven't been watching the trial and nobody's telling me anything. Marlon Rhymes. Why am I pressing the circle button? You are under suspicion for the attempted murder of the Orca. I see. Well, if it's already out... Mr. Rhymes? Says he really gonna admit it? Fine. I won't tell the truth. I'm having to switch buttons. It's really frustrating. Sasha's lying to protect the Orca. At 3:30 on the 20th, there was still water in the Orca pool. The incident happened before the Orca was moved to the show pool. Orla killed the captain by bashing him 30 feet high and making him slam into the water. So I thought the Orca should pay the consequences. Now we're back to the Orca again? I did not see that testimony coming. Wait just a minute. Yesterday, Orla was proven innocent. Besides, you said Orla was in the show pool during the cleaning. I didn't want to sell Sasha out. That's why I didn't tell her the truth. But the fact is, all three of us, Captain, Sasha, and me, were in the pool cleaning room. But Dr. Crab and Miss Buckler both saw you at the show stage. Well, the only thing Dr. Crab knew about the cleaning was what I told him. I didn't give him a whole lot of details either. Maybe he misunderstood. And Sasha's lying to protect the Orca, so she can't tell the truth. Sasha put blood on the skull rock herself to make a fake blood stain. I think it's pretty brave of her to let herself get arrested to protect the Orca. Mr. Rhymes, how can you lie like that? It's the truth. Besides, wouldn't it be better for you if I wasn't lying? If the Orca did it, you win your case. What? This is all very hard to believe. But if Mr. Rhymes' story is true, Miss Buckler would be innocent and the Orca would be the killer. Meaning if we turned our backs on Orla, we could save Sasha? Having a witness lie to save your own client. What a dirty, underhanded tactic, right?
Objection!
Yesterday, the defense proved Orla was not guilty. We have no intention of going back on our assertion now. What are you saying? All you gotta do is admit the Orca did it and Sasha goes free. Isn't a lawyer supposed to act in the client's best interest? But that wouldn't be acting in her best interest. Miss Buckler believes Orla's innocent. And we, of course, believe that Miss Buckler herself is innocent too. Acting in the client's best interest is an important part of our job as lawyers. Using dirty means to win a verdict would destroy our client's faith in us. That's right. We believe in both Miss Buckler and Orla's innocence. Huh? I just don't understand how you can trust a human and an Orca equally. Sasha or the Orca, you can only save one of them. I don't know about that. I think I can save them both. All I have to do is disprove your testimony. Oh yeah? Then go ahead and try. I'll do just that. If I can't tear down his testimony, I won't be able to save both of them. I've got to find a weak spot and start tearing. Okay, Shipley's data at that statement. Okay.
Objection!
When lies are piled on top of each other, contradictions start to emerge. This time's no different. Are you saying there's some kind of inconsistency? That's exactly what I'm saying. You claim the victim was sent flying high about 30 feet in the air, but the autopsy report shows the apparent cause of death to be a 65-foot fall. What? Additionally, in your testimony a moment ago, you said at 3:30 on the 20th, there was still water. With the pool being 65 feet deep, there was only 30 feet between the water and the ceiling. If the pool was as full as you claimed, it would be impossible for the victim to fall 65 feet! Ah! Mr. Rhymes claimed he was in the Orca pool room, so he could make the statements. But the truth must be he was in the show stage, just as they testified. I believe that brings us back around to the Orca didn't do it. I didn't believe the witness's testimony from the outset. I am grateful to you, Right Dono, for shutting this witness up, as I thought the only person who could have killed the victim was Sasha Buckler. The fact still remains whether the witness was the one who tried to kill the Orca or not. Son of a... Mr. Rhymes was right about one thing. His testimony was advantageous to our case. But pointing out that contradiction in the statement will only drive us into a corner. As Prosecutor Blackwell has said, suspicion against Miss Buckler is now deepened. Uh-oh. If I don't do something fast, the judge is going to find her guilty. Mr. Wright, isn't there anything we could do? There has to be a way to prove Sasha's innocent. At a time like this, the thing to do is turn my thinking around. Instead of trying to prove that Sasha couldn't have done it, I have to think about what made it possible for somebody else to have done it. Right! It's the name of the thing, it's the Turnabout trial, yay! As long as the crime scene is the Orca pool room, then Sasha's the only one who could have committed the crime. No need for pity or boldness. Finish him off with a swift verdict. It appears the defense has no objections. Very well, I will give my... Your Honor, please hold off on that verdict. But you were so quiet. Do you have something to say now? The defense has a counter-argument. You do? Pitiful. Such desperation. It even made me go, instead of, like he normally do. Because again, it's a weird tick that I've been giving Blackwell the whole time. You look pale. Are you sure you're prepared to make this counter-argument? The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. I'll never forget those words, no matter how many years go by. Even though it's probably just a bluff, I'll give it to him with a smile. What if the scene of the crime was somewhere else? The scene of the crime? Somewhere else? What? You're finding fault with the police investigation now. As I understand it, the prosecution's argument is as follows. The scene of the crime was the Orca pool room. Only the defendant and victim entered that room when there was no water in the pool. Therefore, only the defendant could have committed the crime. That's correct. But if the scene of the crime was not the Orca pool room, then somebody else other than the defendant could have committed the crime. Are you sure you know where you're going with this? I may not be too sure, but I can't back out now. Mr. Wright, I hope I'm wrong, but this isn't one of your bluffs by any chance? Of course not. He knows me far too well. Do you have a theory on where the actual crime scene was? Of course. Think. Think of a place other than the Orca pool room where one could fall to one's death. Then by all means, please share your theory. Where was the real scene of the murder? Take that! The show stage pool might have been drained of water at some point as well. And if so, it would be just as possible to fall to one's death in there in the orca pool. Right, Dono. What you're doing is a disgrace to your profession. I sincerely hope you have some basis for what you're suggesting. Of course I do. Well, as soon as I think of something. The victim's body was found in the orca pool. How do you explain?
Objection!
How about if after the victim was killed in the show stage pool, his body was moved to the orca pool? How about if? What kind of presentation of this argument is that? You would better have a reasonable explanation for how the body was moved. There's no turning back now. Gotta think of a way the body could have been moved. Was there something at the scene that could have been used to move the body? I think it's... yeah.
Take that!
The hoist runs between the orca pool room and the show stage. The stretcher can be hung from the hoist and move things like Orla and the Skull Rock. The stretcher could have also been used to move the dead body. Yes, if the stretcher can move the orca or the rock, it's likely to move a dead body. Wow, somebody, oh, that worked, might be able to pull this off. If the show pool was the same as the scene of the crime, somebody else could have done it. You desperately spew conjecture, and now you even make up a crime scene. Not again! You don't have the soul of a warrior. You don't deserve to be on the battlefield. And even your fabrication is half-baked. It's a disgrace. What do you mean half-baked? I didn't watch that movie. The hoist can be operated from the orca room only. And the only person who entered the orca room was the defendant. So even if the body was moved, the only one who could have moved it was the defendant herself. Ah! Order. So it comes back to the defendant no matter which pool it was? Meaning I can't clear Sasha either way? Sasha said she moved Orla in the Skull Rock, and I believe her. So could it be possible she moved the body herself without being aware of it? Mr. Wright, do you have an objection to Prosecutor Blackwell's claim? I have no objections. Miss Buckler must have been the one who moved the body. What? Mr. Wright, are you admitting the defendant committed the murder? No. I'm simply conceding she was the only one who could have moved the body. However, I contend Miss Buckler was not aware that is what she was doing. The culprit made her move it unbeknownst to her. The defendant moved a dead body without recognizing it was a dead body? How could that be possible? The body was found in the orca pool. It must have been moved there somehow. You might be able to find some hint that it was moved via the stretcher. The culprit made Miss Buckler move the body along with this piece of evidence.
Take that!
The Skull Rock! Miss Buckler told me yesterday she moved the Skull Rock when she was cleaning. The only two things Miss Buckler moved to the orca pool were Orla and the Skull Rock. I would like to suggest that the victim's body may have been inside the Skull Rock. What? Hidden inside the rock, the body could have been moved to the orca pool with the hoist. I didn't think it was that big. At the show stage, Marlon Rhymes loaded up the Skull Rock with the body inside. And they used the walkie-talkie to let Miss Buckler know the rock was loaded. Miss Buckler operated the hoist from the orca pool room and moved the stretcher. She moved the rock without knowing the body was inside. Do you really think there's enough space inside the rock to place a body? The swashbuckler flyer indicates it was possible. Please focus on the question at the bottom left. Oh, it says, who will obtain the gold coins hidden in the skull rock? In that case, I suppose the rock is most likely hollow. What's more, if the body was inside the skull rock, it explains the remaining unanswered questions. Such as... Please take a look at the security footage of the scene Mr. Plume witnessed. Where did the body that Mr. Plume saw come from? Please recall, what was Orla doing to the skull rock at this time? She was headbutting it. That's right. Orla's ramming released the body from the skull rock. The body had been placed inside the skull rock and moved there from the show stage. I assert that the real murder scene was in fact the show stage pool.
Silence!
What rubbish is this now? You don't have a single scrap of it.
Objection!
It's easy enough to verify what I say. Take a look inside the skull rock for yourself. You should find some kind of proof that the body was there. Blood, fibers, hair. Right, Dono. Mr. Wright, that was incredible! You turned things completely around. And to think it all started with that half-baked bluff, too. That was a close one. Do you really have to add that last bit? The murder took place at the show stage, then who was the perpetrator? It is naturally the person who was at the show stage. Mr. Rhymes, weren't you the one who loaded the skull rock onto the stretcher at the show stage? Wow, Mr. Wright. That was some pretty smart brain work you did there. To be honest, I never thought you could figure it out. I tried to protect myself, but I guess it came back to bite me. Are you confessing you gave false testimony? That's perjury! Yeah, what Mr. Wright says is true. The body was inside the skull rock, and it's true the captain was killed in the show pool. He's admitting he knew it that easy? This time, I'm gonna tell you the whole truth of what happened that day. In the show pool, the orca shot the captain high up into the air. Then the captain came down and slammed into the water. I can still remember the spectators screaming clearly. All Sasha did was move the body. She was still trying to protect the orca. When Mr. Plume witnessed the orca finding the body, I freaked. So now we're back to the orca again. If you were going to give testimony like that, why did I bother putting you on the stand? All I'm doing is telling the truth. That day Sasha wanted to do the old version of the Swashbuckler Spectacular, so I suggested she hide the body in the skull rock and move it to the orca pool. I was gonna figure out what to do with the body after the show was over. The orca's the one who killed the captain. It wasn't me and it wasn't Sasha. So it was Mr. Rhymes' idea to hide the body in the skull rock? If Mr. Rhymes is the culprit, why would he protect Sasha? False charges against her would mean he himself would escape suspicion, so why? Mr. Wright, how about you leave this to me? Athena, do you mean you heard something? Yep. Noise. Discord in his heart. So that means somewhere in his testimony there's an inconsistency in emotion. Alright, give him a good counseling session. You got it, boss. What's this? What are you getting? His testimony's pretty complex. Feelings of deep sadness and intense anger are being called up. These two emotions appear to be running out of control. Out of control emotions? Is that going to be a problem? We're going to have to probe the cause if we want to get his true emotions and testimony. Might even be odd or unnatural spots we're not aware of. Alright, let's probe for those emotions then. Nope, I've done this before. So this is all stuff I've heard in the other testimonies. Ah! Okay, so I can remember. Wow, that's a completely lovely looking audience. Okay, still remember.
Got it!
I doubt there were any spectators there at the show stage when the owner died. If there had been, those witnesses would have told us the true crime scene right away. What? Oh, right. Of course. I just made a mistake. Okay. I made the sadness subside. So maybe the spectators' part was making him sad? I don't know why he would make that mistake saying spectators were there. It's strange. The only thing I can think of is that he was mixing up one memory with another. Like, he was in a similar situation before and it was deeply imprinted on his heart. A situation where an orc killed somebody and there were spectators? Hey, I think I know what he's mixing up. The reason why Mr. Rhymes mixed up his memories was... Killer whale.
Take that!
Mr. Rhymes, I think I know what happened. Could you have been mixing up what happened a year ago with this incident? Maybe that's why you slipped and said that the owner was killed in front of the spectators. What? How did you... You're right. I did see the orc kill somebody a year ago. But what about it? I was just one of the spectators. Really? Just another spectator? There must be a reason you feel great sadness about the incident.
Silence!
Stop this nonsensical scrutiny of feelings and present evidence to prove your point. Boss, do we have any kind of evidence that would back us up here? There is one piece of evidence that comes to mind. Well, I'm waiting. Let's see this evidence that has to do with his sadness.
Take that!
Ozra Summers died an accidental death 1 year ago. This is her boyfriend's charm. Hey! What are you doing with that? It was found in Rifle's stomach yesterday. Judging by your reaction, I believe this belongs to you. I guess I need to push him just a little bit harder to make him admit it. When Mr. Rhymes said the word charm, he was very rattled. Better examine this a bit more. Good idea. Let's look inside it. Huh? What's this? A photograph? Oh, shit. Hey, this is... Ozra Summers and Marlon Rhymes? Mr. Rhymes, you and Ozra Summers were a couple, weren't you? So what if we were? It doesn't have anything to do with the captain's case. You believe you saw the orca kill your girlfriend. That's the cause of your sadness. Isn't that emotion of yours connected to the current case?
Silence!
The only thing you revealed was the witness's connection to a victim of last year's incident. What does the witness's past have to do with the case at hand? I don't know yet. But we managed to pinpoint the source of his sadness. Now let's delve into what he's angry at. Mr. Rhymes, you're angry with Orla, aren't you? Angry? At an orca? Why would I be? If you think I got some reason to be mad, then show me some proof. Do I have proof that he has a reason to be mad? I bet the evidence we just took a look at would come in handy here. This charm indicates you were Azra Summers' boyfriend. I'm sure you believe Orla killed your girlfriend a year ago. You lost your girlfriend, and so you've been angry at her. Alright. I admit it. I'll never forget her. I'll never forgive her. Azra is dead, and that orc is still swimming around happy as a clam. I became an animal keeper just so I could prove that Orca was a killer. You're right. I wanted that Orca to pay. There, you feel good dragging up a person's past? Still doesn't change a thing. She's right. I disagree. It does change things. His out-of-control emotions quieted down. Now we should be able to find out the truth behind the emotion. When Mr. Plume witnessed the orca finding the body, you freaked? Really? What are you getting at? With Mr. Plume as a witness, Orla is guaranteed to be accused of the murder. Didn't it work out exactly as you'd hoped? In order to have Orla put down, you made sure Mr. Plume witnessed the scene. Bye-bye. So you figured it all out, did you? Mr. Rhymes, are you admitting it? I didn't really want to have to fight anybody but the orca. But you leave me no choice. What the... What in the... Ah! Now it's time to get serious. When did One Piece get here? Hoi! What? Yo, yo, ho, ho, ho! Meat brothers represent! Avast you grass eaters, stay free! Take me words and pop them in your mouth! Scurvy grass eaters! Yo, 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 ho, ho! Yeah, I'm ready for the showdown, bro! What is going on? Where did this pirate fellow come from? He looks like a completely different person. Order! And if we don't have order, Prosecutor Blackwood will yell at us! Even Prosecutor Blackwell's at a loss for words. So I plan to have that wench be a witness? Oh, you caught me out. It'd be true that I thought the orca's murderous ways should be found out. That'd be why I schemed to have Mr. Plume see the body. So you admit it? You deliberately framed Orla? It'd be true. Would be skin off that anybody's nose. That orca be a murdering, scurvy dog. I may have a grudge against that orca, but I feel grateful to the captain. That orca murdered Azra and the captain, so of course she should walk the plank. I don't have a response to all this. I agree it wouldn't make any sense for him to kill the owner. Why would he? His hatred for Orla, on the other hand, came right through loud and clear. Wait a minute. If killing Mr. Shipley doesn't make sense, who would it make sense for Rhymes to kill? Maybe my theory's been all wrong. So, there's still quite a bit left of this case, so I'm gonna call it here for now, and we'll get to more of it. There should be 2 more episodes to go. So let's go. See you next time.